Captain Lisa Hayes felt the ship shake around her as another blast hit the hull. The lights flickered and went out for a moment before the emergency power kicked in. Red warning lights filled the bridge of the Star Whisper, casting strange shadows on the walls. "Captain, we've lost the main engines," called out her engineer from across the bridge. His voice was shaking with fear. "The Korthok ships are closing in fast." Lisa looked at the screen in front of her. 3 massive black ships were getting closer to her small research vessel. Each one was 10 times bigger than the Star Whisper. Their dark hulls were covered with spikes and weapon ports that glowed with a sickly green light. "How many escape pods do we have left?" she asked. "Only 2, Captain. Most of them were destroyed when they hit our cargo bay." Lisa closed her eyes for a moment. Just 3 days ago, she had been studying plant samples from the peaceful world of Velrose 3. The Vellani people had lived there for thousands of years without war or violence. They grew food, made art, and raised their children in safety. That world was nothing but ash and burning cities. The Korthok Empire had come like a storm. Their insect-like warriors poured out of the sky in endless numbers. They killed anyone who fought back and took the others as slaves. The Vellani military tried to stop them, but their weapons were made for keeping peace, not for real war. "They lasted less than a day? Captain, they're trying to contact us," said her communications officer. She was young and had never seen real combat before this week. None of them had. "Put them through," Lisa said. The screen changed to show a Korthok war leader. His face looked like a giant insect with 4 eyes and sharp teeth. When he spoke, his voice sounded like grinding metal. "Small ship, you will surrender now. Your people will serve the Empire or die. There is no other choice." Lisa stood up from her captain's chair. "We are a peaceful research vessel. We have no weapons and no military value. Please let my crew go." The Korthok war leader made a sound that might have been laughter. "Your people said the same thing. They begged and cried. Did not save them. Nothing can save you now." The screen went dark. Lisa knew they had maybe 5 minutes before the Korthok ships reached them. She looked around at her crew. There were only 12 of them left out of the 30 who had started this mission. The others had died when the Korthok attacked their base on Velrose III. "Captain, what do we do?" asked the young communications officer. Lisa thought about all. The worlds in the Vellani Federation. 7 different species had joined together in peace over 200 years ago. They shared knowledge, art, and friendship. They had no armies because they thought they would never need them. Now, 6 of those worlds were burning. Only her homeworld of Kalos was still free, and the Korthok were heading there next. "Send out a distress call," she said. "Use all frequencies. Maximum power." "Captain, that will drain our remaining power," warned her engineer. "Do it anyway. Someone has to know what happened here." The communications officer worked quickly at her station. "Ready to broadcast, Captain?" Lisa walked over to the communications panel. She had to try, even if no one would answer. Even if no one cared about a species they had never heard of. "This is Captain Lisa Hayes of the Vellani Federation research vessel Star Whisper. We are under attack by the Korthok Empire. They've destroyed our worlds and killed billions of our people. We are peaceful. We have no weapons. We have no armies. But they kill us anyway." She paused, looking out at the stars through the bridge window. Somewhere out there, other species lived on other worlds. Maybe some of them would understand. The Korthok take everything, they destroy everything. It will not stop with us. Please, if anyone receives this message, help us. Help what is left of our people. Don't let them destroy everything we built together. The ship shook again as the Korthok weapons hit them. This time sparks flew from the control panels and the air filled with smoke. "Captain, hull breach on deck 3, shouted the engineer. "We have maybe 2 minutes before they board us. Keep broadcasting," Lisa ordered. "Send it to every corner of space. Someone has to hear us." The message went out into the darkness between the stars. It traveled at the speed of light, reaching solar system after solar system. Most species who received it deleted the message. Quickly, the Korthok Empire was too dangerous to fight, too powerful to resist. Better to stay quiet and hope they never came your way. On the edges of known space, in a small research station orbiting a gas giant, a young officer named Jake Morrison was working the night shift. He was monitoring deep space communications. For the Terran colonial fleet, it was boring work. Most nights, nothing happened at all. When Lisa's message came through, Jake almost missed it. The computer flagged it as unknown language and put it in the translation queue. But something about the desperate tone made him listen to it anyway. The translation took 3 hours to complete. When Jake read the message, he felt something cold settle in his stomach. These Villani people sounded like they were facing total extinction. An entire civilization was crying out for help, and no one was answering. Jake looked around the empty station. His commanding officer was asleep in his quarters. The rest of the skeleton crew was busy with routine maintenance. But Jake knew this message was not routine. This was the first time humanity had ever heard from another intelligent species. He opened a secure channel to Earth Command. It would take 4 hours for the message to reach them, but they needed to know about this. They needed to know that humanity was not alone in the universe, and that someone out there needed help. As Jake typed his report, he wondered what kind of species these Korthoks were. From the description, they sounded like conquerors and killers. They reminded him of the history books he had studied in school. Earth had seen plenty of empires that grew by destroying others. But Earth had also seen those empires fall when they met people who refused to give up. Back on the Star Whisper, Lisa felt the ship lurch as Korthok boarding pods attached to the hull. She could hear the sound of cutting tools as they burned through the metal. Her crew looked at her with fear in their eyes. "Captain, should we fight?" asked her engineer. Lisa shook her head. "We're not fighters, we never were. But maybe someone out there is." The last thing she did before the Korthok broke through was send one final message. It was just 4 words, but she hoped someone would understand. "Please don't forget us." Then the bridge doors exploded inward, and everything went dark. Admiral Kate Sullivan stared at the report on her desk for the 3rd time. The coffee in her cup had gone cold hours ago, but she barely noticed. The words on the screen seemed impossible, but the evidence was clear. Humanity was not alone in the universe. The door to her office opened, and General Ryan Davis walked in. He was a big man with gray hair and scars on his hands from the war on Mars. He had fought in more battles than anyone else in the room. "Kate, we need to talk about this alien situation," he said, dropping into the chair across from her desk. "I know what you're going to say, Ryan, but this isn't our fight." "Like hell it isn't." Ryan leaned forward. "These Korthok things sound like the worst kind of bullies. They pick on peaceful people who can't fight back. That makes me sick." Kate rubbed her temples. She had been having the same argument with her officers for 2 days now. Half of them wanted to help the aliens. The other half thought it was too dangerous. "We don't know anything about these species," she said. "For all we know, this could be a trap. Maybe the Villani aren't as peaceful as they claim." "Did you listen to that message?" Ryan asked. That woman was crying for help. Her people are being wiped out. If we don't help them, who will? Before Kate could answer, her secretary knocked on the door. "Admiral Dr. Amy Foster is here to see you. Send her in." Dr. Foster was a small woman with messy brown hair and thick glasses. She had spent her whole career studying life on other planets, even though until now they had never found any. She carried a tablet full of data and looked excited. "Admiral, I've finished analyzing the alien communications we intercepted," she said. "You need to see this." She set her tablet on the desk and showed them a series of recordings. The voices were harsh and grinding, like metal scraping against stone. "These are from the Korthok Empire. Okay. Our computers translated them yesterday." Amy pressed play on one of the files. "Listen to this." The translated voice was cold and emotionless. "Sector 7 is clear. All resistance eliminated. Harvesting will begin in 6 standard cycles. The weak ones will serve. The defiant ones will feed the hatchlings." Kate felt her stomach turn. "Feed the hatchlings? It gets worse," Amy said. She played another recording. "This one is from their war leader, giving orders to his troops. Remember, We are the perfect hunters. No prey has ever escaped us. These plant eaters will break like all the others. Fear is our greatest weapon. Use it well. Ryan slammed his fist on the desk. These bastards have never lost a fight. Think they're the toughest things in the galaxy. There's more, Amy continued. I analyzed their battle tactics from the recordings. They always use the same strategy. Show up with overwhelming force, terrify their enemies into surrendering. Then take what they want. They've never had to adapt or change their methods. Why would they? Kate asked. If it always works. Because they've never fought anyone like us, Ryan said quietly. Amy nodded. That's exactly right. Look at this. She showed them a chart. On her tablet, every species the Korthok have conquered evolved on what we call garden worlds. Perfect climate, no natural predators, abundant food, and never had to fight for survival. Kate studied the chart. It showed peaceful herbivores, gentle traders, and artistic civilizations. All of them had fallen to the Korthak in days or weeks. What? About us? Kate asked. Amy smiled for the first time since entering the room. We're different. Earth is classified as a Class 12 Deathworld. That means almost everything on our planet evolved to kill something else. We didn't become smart because we were peaceful. We became smart because we had to survive. Go on, Kate said. Think about it, Amy continued. We shared our world with saber-toothed tigers, giant bears, venomous snakes, and pack hunters. Our ancestors had to fight or hide every single day just to stay alive. We learned to make weapons, work in teams, and never give up. Ryan was grinning now. These Korthok have been picking on sheep. They've never met wolves. It's more than that, Amy said. The Korthok use fear as their main weapon. Humans have been dealing with fear our whole evolutionary history. Don't run away from scary things. Figure out how to kill them. Kate looked at both of them. You're talking about going to war with an empire that has conquered dozens of worlds. Ryan said. We're talking about teaching bullies. What happens when they pick on someone who can fight back? Amy pulled up another file on her tablet. I intercepted this message an hour ago. It's from the surviving Villani forces. The translation was weak and full of static, but they could make out the words. This is Kalo's defense command. The Korthok fleet has entered our system. We have 48 hours before they reach our homeworld. 8 billion people live here. We have nowhere to run. This will be our last message. Tell the galaxy that we tried to live in peace. The room was quiet for a long moment. Kate stared out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, an entire civilization was about to die, and they were the only ones who could help. How many ships do we have ready for deep space deployment? She asked. Ryan checked his tablet. 3 battle groups. 30 ships total. The Iron Wolf battle group is already at the outer rim. They could reach the Villani system in 18 hours. That's not nearly enough firepower to fight an empire, Kate said. We don't need to fight their whole empire, Ryan replied. Just need to show them that their victims can bite back. Kate stood up and walked to the window. She thought about her own children, safe on Earth. Then she thought about alien children on a world called Kalos, waiting to die. Amy, how confident are you in your analysis? Completely confident, Admiral. The Korthok have never faced real resistance. They don't know how to fight an enemy that refuses to break. Kate turned back to her officers. Ryan, prep your battle groups. We're going to show these Korthok what humans are made of. Yes, ma'am. Ryan jumped up from his chair. What do we call the mission? Kate thought for a moment. Operation Samaritan. We're going to help our neighbors. As Ryan hurried out to prepare the fleet, Amy remained behind. Admiral, there's something else you should know. What? The Korthok have been expanding for over 1,000 years. No one has ever stopped them. If we succeed in saving the Villani, word will spread across the galaxy. Everyone will know that humans exist. Kate nodded. They'll know what we're capable of. Are you ready for that? Amy asked. Kate looked at the alien distress message still playing on her screen. A woman named Lisa Hayes was begging the universe for help. Kate had never met her, but she knew what she had to do. Dr. Foster, prepare a message for broadcast to the Villani system. Tell them help is coming. Tell them Earth remembers what it is. Means to fight for survival. As Amy left to prepare the message, Kate sat back down at her desk. She opened a secure channel to the president and began typing her report. In 18 hours, humanity would announce itself to the galaxy, not as explorers or traders, but as warriors answering a call for help. She just hoped they were as tough as Amy believed they were. Commander Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Iron Wolf and watched the Villani system grow larger on the main screen. His ship was the first to arrive, leading a small group of destroyers into what might be their last battle. Behind him, his crew worked quietly at their stations, checking weapons and running final system tests. Contact on long-range sensors called out Lieutenant Sam Turner from the tactical station. 52 ships, all Korthok design, they're in formation. Around the fourth planet, Jake studied the tactical display. The Korthok fleet was massive, but they were arranged in a perfect battle line, just like the textbooks said they would be. No scouts, no reserves, no flexibility. They were waiting for the Villani to come out and fight them properly. Any sign of Villani ships? Jake asked. Negative, sir. Looks like they're all staying close to their homeworld. I'm reading heavy damage to their orbital stations. Jake nodded. The Villani had probably tried to fight the traditional way and gotten crushed for it. Now they were hiding behind their planet, waiting to die. Sir, we're receiving a transmission, said Communications Officer Pete Williams. It's coming from one of the damaged Villani ships. Put it on screen. The image was fuzzy and broken, but Jake could make out the face of an alien woman. She had large, gentle eyes and soft features that reminded him of a deer. When she spoke, her voice was weak, but determined. Unknown ships. This is Captain Lisa Hayes of the Villani Federation. Please identify yourselves. Are you here to help us? Jake stepped forward. Captain Hayes, this is Commander Jake Morrison of the Terran Colonial Fleet. We received your distress call. We're here to help. Lisa's eyes went wide. Terran? I don't know that species. How many ships do you have? Jake glanced at Sam, who held up 4 fingers. We have 4 ships in our advance group, Captain. More are coming. For ships. Lisa's voice cracked. Commander, the Korthok have over 50 vessels. Each one is larger than anything we've ever built. You need to run before they notice you. Ma'am, with respect, running isn't really what we do. Before Lisa could respond, alarms started blaring on both ships. Sam looked up from his console with a grim smile. Contact. 3 Korthok heavy cruisers breaking formation. They're moving to intercept us. Jake studied the approaching ships on his screen. Each one was easily 3 times the size of the Iron Wolf. Their black holes were covered in spikes and weapon, ports that glowed with an evil green light. They looked like something from a nightmare. Captain Hayes, please stand by. We'll be right back. Jake cut the transmission and turned to his crew. All right, people. This is what we trained for. Sam, what's their approach vector? They're coming straight at us in line formation. No evasive maneuvers, no tactical spacing. It's like they're showing off. Perfect. Pete, signal the Night Hunter, Steel Fang, and Storm Rider. Execute attack. Pattern Delta, sir. Are you sure? Sam asked. Those ships outgun us by a factor of 10. Jake grinned. Sam, did you ever hunt deer back on Earth? Yes, sir. But what does that have to do with... ... Deer are bigger than wolves. They have sharp hooves and can kick hard enough to break bones. But wolves still win. You know why? Sam thought for a moment. Because wolves hunt in packs and use tactics. Exactly. These Korthok are used to fighting herbivores. They've never seen pack hunters before. The Iron Wolf and her sister ships spread out into a wide formation. The Korthok cruisers continued their straight-line approach, probably expecting the human ships to either run away or form a battle line like every other species they'd fought. Instead, the human ships did something the Korthok had never seen before. They attacked from 4 different directions at once. The Night Hunter came in low and fast, targeting the lead cruiser's engine section. The Steel Fang hit the second ship from above, focusing on its weapon arrays. The Storm Rider went wide and struck the third cruiser's communications array. The Iron Wolf went straight up the middle, firing at all 3 ships as fast as her weapons could cycle. The Korthok ships tried to return fire, but they couldn't target all 4 attackers at once. Their weapons were designed for fighting enemies that stayed in one place and traded shots like gentlemen. The human ships moved like sharks, hitting hard and fast before darting away. "Direct hit on Cruiser 1's main drive," Sam reported. "She's losing power." "Cruiser 2 has lost her forward weapons," called out the weapons officer.
Oh.
"She's trying to turn to bring her rear guns to bear." "Don't let her," Jake ordered. "All ships concentrate fire on Cruiser 2. Take her out of the fight." The 4 human destroyers swarmed the damaged Korthok ship like wolves bringing down a wounded elk. Within minutes, the cruiser was drifting dead in space. Her hull cracked open in bleeding atmosphere. The remaining 2 Korthok ships tried to retreat, but they were too slow and clumsy. The Iron Wolf and her pack ran them down, crippling their engines and leaving them helpless. "Cease fire," Jake ordered. "Sam, damage report." "Minor hull scoring on the Storm Rider. Everyone else is fine." "Sir, we just took out 3 heavy cruisers without losing a single ship." Jake looked at the tactical display. The main Korthok fleet was stirring like a kicked hornet's nest. Ships were breaking formation and moving toward the battle site. They were moving slowly, cautiously. For the first time in their history, the Korthok were facing an enemy that had hurt them. "Pete, open a channel to Captain Hayes." Lisa's face appeared on screen again. She looked stunned. "Commander Morrison, what just happened?" "My sensors show that you destroyed 3 Korthok cruisers." "We disabled them, ma'am. We prefer to give our enemies a chance to surrender." "But how? They were so much larger than your ships." Jack shrugged. "Size isn't everything, Captain." Learned that lesson a long time ago on our homeworld. Sometimes the little guy wins if he's mean enough. Your homeworld must be a very dangerous place." "You have no idea, ma'am. Now, we need to get you and your people out of here." "How many civilians are on your planet?" 8 billion, Lisa whispered. "But we have no way to evacuate them. Our transport ships were destroyed in the first attack." "Don't worry about that. Admiral Sullivan is bringing the big ships. We'll get your people to safety." Before Lisa could respond, Sam called out another contact report. "Sir, the main Korthok fleet is moving. All 50 ships are heading our way." Jake looked at his small force of 4 destroyers. 50 to 4 were not good odds, even for wolves. But they had done what they came to do. They had shown the Korthok that their prey could bite back. "All ships, withdraw to Rendezvous Point Alpha. We've bloodied their nose. Now let's see how they like fighting Admiral Sullivan's battle group." As the Iron Wolf and her escorts pulled back, Jake opened a channel to the approaching Korthok fleet. He wanted to send them a message they would never forget. "Attention, Korthok vessels. This is Commander Jake Morrison of the human race. You have attacked peaceful people and destroyed their worlds. That ends now. Earth is coming to help the Villani, and we're bringing everything we've got." He cut the transmission and turned to his crew. "Pete, send a message to Admiral Sullivan. Tell her the Korthok are everything Dr. Foster said they were. Big, scary, and completely unprepared for a real fight." "What else should I tell her, sir?" Jake looked at the tactical display one more time. The Korthok fleet was spread out in a perfect formation, moving slowly and predictably toward them. They were still fighting like they expected their enemies to line up and die politely. "Tell her we're about to show the galaxy what happens when bullies pick on the wrong species." As the Iron Wolf jumped to hyperspace, Jake thought about Captain Lisa Hayes and her people. They had called out for help, and Earth had answered. Soon, the Korthok Empire would learn that humanity had spent millions of years fighting for survival on the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. It was time to bring that experience to the stars. War Leader Zethkar stared at the tactical display in his command chamber aboard the massive dreadnought Hive Mother. For the first time in his long military career, he felt something he had never experienced before. Doubt. 3 of his heavy cruisers sat dead in space, their hulls torn open like broken eggs. The small ships that had done this damage were already gone, vanished into the darkness between stars. But their message remained clear. The prey was fighting back. War Leader called out one of his tactical officers. "The enemy ships have withdrawn. Should we pursue?" Zethkar's 4 eyes studied the battlefield. His species had conquered 47 worlds using the same tactics every time. Show overwhelming force, terrify the enemy into surrender, then take what you want. It had never failed before. No, he said finally. Let them run. They cannot hide forever. But even as he said the words, Zethkar knew something had changed. The small ships had not fought like any enemy he had ever faced.
Ow.
They moved like the hunting insects from his own homeworld, quick and deadly, striking from multiple directions at once. War Leader, we are receiving a transmission from the enemy fleet. Put it on the main screen. A human face appeared on the display. Had never seen anything like it before. The creature had smooth skin instead of chitin, and its eyes faced forward like a predator's. When it spoke, its voice was calm and confident. Attention, Korthok vessels. This is Commander Jake Morrison of the human race. You have attacked peaceful people and destroyed their worlds. That ends now. Earth is coming to help the Villani, and we're bringing everything we've got. The transmission ended, leaving Zethkar staring at a blank screen. In all his years of conquest, no prey species had ever threatened him. They begged, they cried, they offered tribute. They never promised to bring their entire military to fight him. War Leader, his communications officer reported. Long-range sensors are detecting a large fleet approaching, once as if ships all of unknown design. Zethkar felt his confidence return. 26 ships against his 52. The odds were still in his favor. These humans might be clever, but they were badly outnumbered. Prepare the fleet for battle. All ships to attack. Formation. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Midnight Sun, and watched the Korthok fleet arrange itself for battle. The alien ships formed perfect lines, just like Amy Foster had predicted. No creativity, no adaptation, just brute force. Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from Captain Hayes, reported her communications officer. Put her on screen. Lisa Hayes appeared on the main display. She looked exhausted and frightened, but there was hope in her eyes now. Admiral Sullivan, I cannot believe you came. But please, you must understand what you're facing. The Korthok have never been defeated. They destroy everything in their path. Kate smiled grimly. Captain Hayes, has anyone ever told the Korthok that they can't win? I don't understand. Where I come from, we have a saying. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. These Korthoks are about to learn that lesson the hard way. Kate cut the transmission and turned to her. Tactical Officer, Colonel Martinez. Are your Marines ready? Colonel Ben Martinez grinned. He was a tough man who had fought in ground wars across 3 star systems. My boys are chomping at the bit, Admiral. They've been stuck on ships for 2 weeks. They want to stretch their legs. They'll get their chance. The Korthok have prisoner camps on the surface of Kalos. I want those camps liberated. Yes, ma'am. What about the space battle? Kate looked at the tactical display. We're going to do what humans do best. We're going to adapt. The battle began. When the Korthok fleet advanced in their traditional formation, 52 massive ships moving in perfect lines, their weapons charging for a devastating opening volley, the human fleet did something the Korthok had never seen before. Instead of forming battle lines, they scattered like a flock of birds. Some ships went high, others went low. A few went wide to the flanks, while others charged straight into the enemy formation. All ships execute planned chaos, Kate ordered. The Midnight Sun led a group of heavy cruisers straight toward the center of the Korthok line. At the same time, the Iron Wolf and her destroyers hit the enemy flanks. The marine assault ships Devil, Dogs, and Semper Fi came in from below, targeting the Korthok command vessels. The Korthok tried to respond, but their rigid formation worked against them. Ships that should have been covering each other were spread too far apart. Vessels that should have been maneuvering were locked into holding their positions. Direct hit on Korthok flagship, reported the weapons officer. They're taking heavy damage. Good. All ships target their command and control vessels. Cut off the head and the body dies. The human fleet moved like a school of fish, each ship responding instantly to threats and opportunities. When Korthak vessels tried to concentrate, their fire, the human ships, would scatter and attack from new angles. When the aliens tried to maneuver, human ships would be waiting for them, down on the surface of Kalos. Colonel Martinez led the first wave of marine drop pods toward the largest Korthak prison camp. The alien warriors guarding the camp had never faced human soldiers before. They expected the attacking force to break and run when they opened fire. Instead, the human Marines advanced through the bombardment like it was a light rain. Sergeant Carlos Rodriguez led his squad through explosions that would have shattered the morale of any species the Korthak had ever fought. Rodriguez, take your team and hit the guard towers. I want those prisoners free in 10 minutes, Martinez ordered over the radio. You got it, Colonel? Come on, boys. Let's show these bugs what Earth Marines can do. Rodriguez and his men moved through the prison camp like ghosts, taking out guards with silent efficiency. The Korthak warriors who tried to stop them discovered that humans had been fighting wars for thousands of years. They knew every trick, every tactic, every way to kill an enemy quickly and quietly. Guard Tower 1 is down, Rodriguez reported. Moving to Tower 2? Tower 3 is clear, came another voice over the radio. These bugs fight like amateurs. Within minutes, the prison camp was secure. 3,000 Villani prisoners stumbled out of their cells, unable to believe they were free. Many of them wept when they saw the human soldiers who had rescued them. Captain Lisa Hayes was among the prisoners. She had been captured when the Korthak boarded her ship days earlier. When she saw Colonel Martinez, she could barely speak. "You came back for us," she whispered. "Ma'am, humans don't leave people behind," Martinez replied. "That's not how we do things." Back in space, the battle was turning into a rout. The Korthak fleet, so perfectly arranged for traditional combat, was being torn apart by an enemy that refused to fight by the rules. War leader Zethkar watched his command display in growing horror. He had lost 18 ships and gained nothing in return. The human vessels darted around his fleet like stinging insects, hitting vital systems and disappearing before his gunners could target them. "War leader, the humans are requesting to speak with you," his communications officer reported. "Put them through." Admiral Sullivan's face appeared on his screen. She looked calm and professional, like she was discussing the weather instead of commanding a battle. "War leader Zethkar, this is Admiral Kate Sullivan of the human fleet. I'm offering you one chance to surrender. Draw from this system and release all prisoners. Do this, and we'll let you live." Zethkar's mandibles clicked in fury. "You dare threaten me? Command the greatest fleet in the galaxy." "You commanded the greatest fleet," Kate corrected. "Look at your tactical display. You've lost a third of your ships, and we're just getting started. This is what happens when bullies pick on someone who can fight back." Zethkar looked at his display. The human admiral was right. His perfect formation was in ruins. His ships were scattered and confused. For the first time in Korthak history, they were losing a battle. "What are you?" he asked quietly. Kate's expression didn't change. "We're the species that survived on a world where everything was trying to kill us. We're the people who turned being prey into being predators. We're the neighbors who heard a cry for help and decided to answer it." The transmission ended, leaving Zethkar alone with his thoughts. Around him, his officers waited for orders. But for the first time in his career, War Leader didn't know what to do. The Korthak Empire had finally met something more dangerous than themselves, and they were learning what it felt like to be the ones who were afraid. The command bridge of the Hive Mother was quiet except for the sound of damaged systems sparking and smoking. War Leader Zethkar stared at his tactical display and tried to understand what had gone wrong. His fleet was broken. 28 ships. Destroyed or disabled. The remaining vessels were scattered and confused, their perfect formations turned into chaos. The humans had done something impossible. They had taken his superior numbers and turned them into a weakness. Every time his ships tried to mass their firepower, the human vessels would scatter like leaves in the wind. Every time he tried to corner them, they would strike from a new direction. "War Leader, the human flagship is approaching," reported his sensor officer. "She's alone." Zethkar looked at the display. The ship called Midnight Sun was moving slowly toward his damaged dreadnought. She wasn't firing her weapons or making threatening moves. She was just coming closer, like a predator approaching wounded prey. "Sir, they're hailing us," said his communications officer. "Put them through." Admiral Kate Sullivan appeared on the main screen. Her face was calm, but Zethkar could see the steel in her eyes. This was a warrior who had won her battle and knew it. "War Leader Zethkar, I'm going to make this simple. Your fleet is beaten. Your invasion is over. You have two choices. Surrender now and live, or keep fighting and die." Zethkar's 4 eyes narrowed. "You think you have one?" "I still command the largest ship in this system. I can destroy your vessel with a single shot." Kate nodded slowly. "You're probably right. But look around you, War Leader. Look at what's left of your fleet. Even if you kill me, my people will hunt you to the end of the galaxy. We don't forgive, we don't forget, and we never stop coming." Before Zethkar could respond, his tactical officer called out an alarm. "War Leader, multiple contacts approaching. Fast. It's the Iron Wolf and 3 other human ships. They're on an intercept course." Zethkar looked at his display and felt something cold settle in his stomach. The 4 human destroyers were approaching his dreadnought like a pack of wolves, surrounding a wounded buffalo. Their weapons were powered up and ready to fire. "You see," Kate continued, "my ships don't abandon each other. If you fire on me, they'll tear your dreadnought apart piece by piece. Then they'll hunt down every survivor and make sure the galaxy knows what happens to bullies who pick on peaceful people." Commander Jake Morrison's voice came over the communications channel. "Admiral, this is the Iron Wolf. We're in position and ready to engage." Kate never took her eyes off Zethkar. "The choice is yours, War Leader. Die fighting, or live to tell your empire that their expansion has reached its limit." Zethkar looked around his bridge. His officers were watching him, waiting for orders. Some of them wanted to fight to the death, as Korthok warriors were supposed to do. Others looked at the tactical display and understood that they were beaten. For 1,000 years, the Korthok Empire had grown by conquering species that couldn't fight back. They had never faced an enemy that was willing to charge into superior firepower and keep coming. They had never met a species that treated war like a science instead of a ritual. "What terms do you offer?" Zethkar asked quietly. "Full withdrawal from Villani's space, release of all prisoners, and a message to your empire that the Villani people are under human protection now. And if I refuse..." Kate's expression didn't change. "Then you die here, and we follow your surviving ships back to Korthok space. We'll find your homeworld and show them what their perfect hunters look like when they're the ones being hunted." Zethkar thought about his home planet, with its great hive cities and billions of Korthok civilians. He imagined human ships appearing in the sky above them, bringing the same terror his people had brought to so many others. "I accept your terms," he said finally. "The surrender of the Korthok fleet took 3 hours. Human Marines boarded each enemy ship to supervise the release of prisoners and the destruction of weapons systems. Captain Lisa Hayes stood on the bridge of the Midnight Sun and watched her people being freed from the alien prison ships. "I still can't believe you came," she said to Admiral Sullivan. "No one else in the galaxy would help us." Kate looked out at the stars through the bridge windows. "Captain Hayes, humans have a saying. Evil wins when good people do nothing. We weren't going to let that happen. But why? We didn't even know we existed until a few days ago, because someone sent out a call for help where we come from. You always answer a call for help." Dr. Amy Foster approached them with a datapad in her hands. "Admiral, I finished analyzing the Korthok computer systems. You need to see this." She showed them a star map with dozens of red markers scattered across it. Each marker represented a world the Korthok had conquered over the past 1,000 years. 47 civilizations, Amy said quietly. Billions of people enslaved or killed. All because no one was willing to stand up to them. Lisa stared at the map. All those worlds, all those people, if only someone had stopped them sooner. "Well, they're stopped now," Kate said firmly. "Word of this battle will spread across the galaxy. Every species will know that the Korthok can be beaten." "What happens next?" Lisa asked. Kate thought about that question. Humanity had announced itself to the galaxy in the most dramatic way possible. They had shown up as warriors answering a cry for help. Now the entire galaxy would know that Earth existed, and they would know what humans were capable of. Now we build something better, Kate said. The Volani Federation and the Terran colonial fleet will work together. We'll help you rebuild your worlds and defend your people. Maybe we can teach the galaxy that there's a better way than conquest. In slavery, Colonel Martinez joined them on the bridge. His uniform was dirty and torn from the ground fighting, but he was grinning from ear to ear. Admiral, all prison camps are secure. We've rescued over 50,000 Volani civilians. Of them are in good condition. Casualties? Kate asked. 12 wounded, none killed. These Korthok aren't used to fighting people who know how to fight back. Lisa looked at the human officers around her. They had traveled across the galaxy to help people they had never met. They had risked their lives for strangers and asked for nothing in return. What kind of world produces people like you? She asked. Jake Morrison, who had just arrived from the Iron Wolf, overheard the question. A world that tried to kill us every day for millions of years, he said. A world where you either learned to fight together or you died alone. But that must have made you violent and cruel, Lisa said. No, Kate replied. It made us strong, and it taught us to protect those who can't protect themselves. 3 months later, Dr. Amy Foster sat in her new office on the joint Terran-Volani research station orbiting. Kalos, she was writing her final report on the Korthok conflict for Earth Command. The galaxy, she typed, is filled with civilizations that evolved on garden worlds. They developed art, philosophy, and technology in peace and safety. They never learned to fight because they never had to fight. Humanity is different. We are the children of a world that tested us every day. We learned to make weapons because we needed them to survive. We learned to work together because alone we were prey. We learned to never give up because giving up meant death. The Korthok Empire fell not because we had better technology or greater numbers. They fell because they had never met a species that refused to be victims. They thought they were the apex predators of the galaxy. They were wrong. The galaxy now knows that Earth exists. They know that humans will answer a call for help. They know that bullies and conquerors have something to fear. For the first time in 1,000 years, the weak have protectors. The question now is what we do with this responsibility. The galaxy is watching us. They want to know what kind of species humanity really is. I believe they will find that we are exactly what we have always been. Survivors who became protectors, prey that became predators, and neighbors who will always answer when someone calls for help. Amy finished her report and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, their species were reading about the battle for Kalos. Some of them were probably afraid of these new humans who had appeared from nowhere. Others might be planning to test humanity's strength for themselves. But Amy wasn't worried. Earth had spent millions of years preparing for whatever the galaxy could throw at them. They had learned to survive on a world where survival was never guaranteed. Now they were teaching the galaxy that sometimes the good guys really do win. The call for help had gone out across the dark between stars, and humanity had answered with everything they had. It was what they did. It was who they were. It was what made them human.